So we're going to start on Drupal.org. And one thing I want to point out real quick is that I am logged in. You're going to need to be logged in for most of this stuff. So let's go to the documentation section of the site. And you'll see we have a whole bunch of different guides listed, sort of broken out. Also at the top, there are 2 tabs. And those just correspond to the installation and administration guides that are listed. They're not something different, just handy quick links. Now, if we go into one of these guides, we can take a look at a handbook page and sort of what that means and what some of the basic pieces are. One thing that you'll notice at the top is that there's this revisions tab. And so you can see the history of a document once you're logged in. So you can see the changes, why things were changed. So you can sort of get a sense of whether it should be changed back or not. And you can see that we have links underneath here, which are child pages of this page, creating sort of an index for this section. And down at the very bottom of the page, you can add your own child page, which we'll look at later in this video. There's also the printer-friendly version, which will print out this page and all of its children without all the additional graphics. And then add new comment, which you should only use for adding useful information, not asking questions or support. And then last, there's a report to moderator link, which will open you up to create a new issue in the webmaster queue to report if there's a greater problem than what you can deal with. You'll see we have this navigation bar here. This is the first child page listed in the child page listing. There are more child pages under this page, and our navigation bar is changed so that I can go back up into the book. This is just a Drupal core book module. Now, in this particular page, there is a little bit of a typo. So in this sentence, it says it covers the use of administrator account. It should be the use of the administrator account. So I have an edit tab now. And most pages in the handbook, you'll have an edit tab. The first important thing to note is that there is this link for guidelines. So you should brush up on that. But this is a very simple change. I don't need to change any meta information. I just need to change the text to correct that little typo in there. So I'm going to add the word the. Everything else is fine. You can see we have HTML, and we have a little toolbar here to help you with HTML. It's not a WYSIWYG, but it inserts the HTML for you, which is super handy. And then once I've made my little change, I also need to leave a log message. It's required. What did I do? Why did I do that? Just so that everybody can know what the change was and why it was made. So I'll write in a quick log message. I could also do file attachments, but I don't need that for this, right? If I wanted to upload an image, say. So I'm going to go ahead and just save my changes. And this may take a really long time, in particular if it's Drupal.org is basically debating whether or not to let me post this. It may take a long time. Drupal.org is doing quite a bit of thinking about spam protection. And since I'm sort of an unknown entity with a new account, it takes a little bit longer for it to sort of process through everything. And you'll see it actually wasn't happy with me, which is why that was taking so long. Basically, and it says that, yeah, there was a problem, and above it here it says I need to apply for the not a spammer role so that Drupal.org doesn't have to wonder and think about things. So I'm going to click that link, and that's going to take me to create an issue in the webmaster's queue. And that's where I would request that I need to have this additional role so that I can make my edit. It's a bit annoying, but it helps us reduce spam quite a bit on the site. So this is a task. I'll leave everything else at its defaults here. And basically I just need to create an issue that says, please give me the not a spammer role, and explain why I want the role. So I would, in the description, I would say I just want to make a simple edit. Now that issue is going to go into the webmaster's queue. Somebody will review that and then add the role and then leave a comment on that issue. I'll need that role before I can do my edit. So I'm coming back to the site after this role has been granted to my account. So now I'm completely good to go for editing. So let's try and do the edit again. I need to add my little text to fix the little typo here. Again, I need to leave a log message. It's required. So if you forget to put a log message when you submit the form, it'll just prompt you to leave one. So we'll go ahead and save that. You can see that happened much more quickly, and the page has been updated, and you can see that I am now listed as one of the editors for the page, which is kind of cool. So something else that I'd really like to be able to do on the site is not just edit things, but also be able to actually create my own pages from scratch rather than changing what other people have written. So I'm going to go here into the site building guide. A great way to contribute is to create documentation for contributed modules under the site building guide. So if we go in here and scroll down a bit, you see this contributed modules documentation page just has a bunch of child pages for different modules. And there are some modules that are under particular sections based on task, but this is sort of the main listing. And there's a module called OLARC module that doesn't have documentation that I would like to add. And if I go to the OLARC page, we can see, there's all the regular module information. But if we look down under the resources section, there's no link to any documentation anywhere. So people right now have to sort of figure it out or go find the README file in the module itself, which is less than ideal. So I'm going to come back to this contributed module documentation page and see there's a whole bunch of pages in here. There's nothing for OLARC listed, so it goes N to P. So I'm going to go ahead and add my own page. So down at the bottom, I'm going to click on Add Child Page. And now I get to fill out my own page. So, of course, we need a title, which, for module documentation would be the module name. And then I want to make sure that I select the correct versions. So this documentation applies to both 6 and 7. If I hold the Control key down. Beginner, audience, this is mostly for site builders. But you can pick whichever audience you feel is most applicable. I don't need to put any keywords in here, but then page status is also really interesting. You don't have to select this. This is definitely something like when you're going to edit a page. If you notice one of these sort of statuses, you can select that to kind of flag it to the general community that it needs to be updated or fixed in some way. So I have this text that I've written up for the OLARC module. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that in. And again, you can see I can use various HTML tags. I already typed those in, but we do have the toolbar at the top to help with that. And that's it. Now it's going to make a revision. I don't have to leave a log message when I create a new page, but once I go in to edit it, you will have to create a log message. So that's it. I created my page. You can see it was created by me, listed on the page, and others can edit this page as well as me. Just because I created it doesn't mean I'm the only one. And you can see that, now we have our documentation page. And if you look in the listing, the index for this section, OLARC chat is now listed alphabetically with those modules, making it much easier to find. Now, the last bit to actually make it even easier to find, though, is to get this page linked to from the module page, right? That's where people are going to go to actually trying to find documentation quite often. So since what I'm going to need to do since I don't actually have control over the module page, what I'm going to need to do is create an issue. So I'll create an issue in the OLARC issue queue, create a new issue. Right, so go to the issue queue, create a new issue, and then I'm going to put the version, which, is for the latest version. It actually applies to multiple versions. This isn't a change to the code base, but it is documentation component. And then this is a task, or you could also say it's a bug report because it should have documentation on the site. And then I just need to fill out my issue and explain that I've created this book page and that it would be really nice to have it linked from the page. So I've created the issue, explained, gave a link to it, hit save, and now that'll go, and the module maintainer will see that, and then they can just grab that link and add it to the settings on the project page itself so that the link will be created. So my work here is done. And I've edited a typo, and I've created a new handbook page that didn't exist that can help people out. And all of this is as just a normal user logged in user, understanding the tools that are available to me on Drupal.org. So hope to see you in the documentation pages on Drupal.org.